welcoming you all to today's event. It's 360-degree entrepreneur, which connotes the entrepreneur that has a complete cycle when it comes to being a businesswoman or a businessman. And being a business person connotes that you have to ensure your mental state of health is intact. You ensure that financial management is key when you run a business. You also ensure that setting goals, you do that the way it should be done. And of course, customer service is very key when you are talking about running a business. That's the pulse of every business. That's the heartbeat of every business. So many other things we're learning today, which would entail you being a 360-degree entrepreneur. How to be an entrepreneur with value. So I welcome you all to today's event while I introduce our honorable, delectable, amiable Jody. Can I get a clap there? All right, everyone, I welcome you once again. Let me quickly see this around. We have Spotify, Jamokta, Mariana, Karen, Ellie, Fabienne, Eone, Labworks Publishing, Linsog, Margot, Robert, Sama, Stephanie, Svetlana. Welcome you all once again. All right, then let me quickly introduce our own wonderful moderator. She's a natural consultant serving in the holistic industry for over 12 years. She's worked with leading companies and have traveled across Quebec, Ontario, and the Maritime, spreading knowledge on holistic remedies and promoting health. Judy has a bachelor in sociology and anthropology, where her appreciation for culture, diversity originates from. Also completed multiple certificates in the health food industry, evolving around nutrition, digestion, and weight loss. All right, not to talk more. Let me just quickly tell you that she's currently the founder of Healthy Bites Montreal, a meal prep company and a platform to gain natural knowledge. So join me as I welcome our wonderful moderator to today's event as she takes us on a ride today.
Thank you so much, Nafemi.
You're welcome.
I'm really thank you for the introduction, and I'm really excited to actually get to know everybody else on this panel. I do believe that everybody has something to offer, and when you live in purpose, you serve and you impact, and I think that's what the world is all about. So thank you so much for that. So we're gonna start, I guess, with our agenda. I just want to remind everyone to please be respectful of the time. Try to stay within the 5 minutes, 7 minutes max, just to allow everybody to speak. We're also going to keep the Q&As until the very end, so stay tuned if anyone has a question for you that you are able to address and help them. And we're going to start. So our first person up is Svetlana Chernenko. I'm sorry if I mispronounced it. Help me out.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good, thank you.
At the Real Svetlana, a Canadian mental health and body positivity advocate, speaker, Global News Montreal contributor. She owns at Wusa. You can find it on Instagram, a lifestyle brand that focuses on mental and physical wellness as a body positive advocate. Also an ally for the LGBTQIA. She's also an activist, a mother, a model, writer, businesswoman, an advocate for anti-bullying and domestic violence, and of the METOO, is that how you pronounce it? METOO movement, a supporter of the LGBTQ Foundation and Women's Equal Rights Foundation, as well as a supporter of the Diversity Inclusion Foundation and the Black Lives Matter movement. We did, if you were on social media, you did see everybody, participate in that. So Svetlana was very well present with that. As a mental health activist for the people and domestic abuse survivor, she uses the same values that got her through her worst years and that she now instills in her children to help others find victory in their battles. Svetlana's mission is to erase the stigma of mental illness and racism and build her community so that no matter what they may be facing, they can find hope and rest easy knowing that they have the support needed to carry on. So her biggest thing is the sound mental health, and she's a business owner. Svetlana, please share your value with us today.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to see everybody's face. I hope everybody's doing well, mentally, physically, during these very trying times. So a little bit about my mission. My goal started many years ago. I used to model, and I just felt like it wasn't really fulfilling what I was trying to do, because I always wanted to create a change and impact people. I come from a family of women that impact people's lives. I had a father who impacted people's lives as well. He actually marched with Martin Luther King. There was so many amazing things that I've seen people in my family accomplish. And I felt like, well, I'm just the model. So I was like, you know what? I wanted to really change things up. So I decided to start sharing my story with mental health, my struggles with domestic abuse, which led to that struggle with mental health. I was in a domestic abusive relationship at a very young age, from the age of 16 to 22. And that person actually abducted me. So that led to me going through mental health issues, not knowing that I was even suffering and struggling. I am a suicide survivor because out of that outcome, I tried to take my own life. And the mental health hospital was key in getting me the support that I needed. So when I look back and reflecting at my life, it's been since 2016 that I decided to open up about my story, to share it and to come out of the darkness and really talk about mental health advocacy, body positivity as well, and mental health as well in the Black community, and also mental health in the LGBTQ plus communities, because there's so many people that are being affected and that are living in silence at the moment. I do have a trans sister and a queer son. So for me standing up, I've been standing for the LGBTQ plus community for over 22 years because I was in that community because I had an uncle who had gone through a lot of things. Let's start 70s and 80s, and he was a part of my life and really helped me understand as being a straight woman in that community and being an ally. So that's try to give, like, summarize everything.
That's definitely a big journey, big story, a chapter that's very, you know, a lot of people can relate to that. I think we all have our journeys, we all have our traumas, and it's about coming together and healing the world, right? I'm all about healing. So thank you so much for sharing that with us, Svetlana. What are some of advice you have to somebody who gets bullied? I mean, you're part of all of this and you must have had a lot of people reach out to you. How do you allow them to practice, you know, that self-respect for whichever direction they want to go in their lives?
Well, I understand a lot about bullying because I was bullied in high school for a long time. I was attacked by 15 girls. I actually was the one that got thrown out of school. And it was during the dark skin, light skin era. And there was a lot of bullying going to predominantly white school. Unfortunately, having a white mother wasn't enough to protect me. So, you know, the fact that I do have a Black father, I was bullied. I didn't look like the majority of the girls that had blonde hair, blue eyes in the school, and it became an issue for me. My daughter went through bullying as well in the area that we lived in before. It was more suburban, majority white, and she got bullied to the point that somebody attacked her on the school bus, and I had to get onto the school bus to pull her off. So when it comes to bullying, it starts at home. It starts with the parents. And that's where I always say we have to be able to have conversations with our children, and whatever our beliefs are about other people's race, religion, sexual orientation, we have to be careful because children are innocent, and whatever we project in our homes is what they're going to project on the outside. When we choose to have children, because it is a choice, we have a responsibility in how we raise them and upbring them in the home, and when we put them out and present them into the world. One thing that I told my children is that be a reflection of what I teach you in this household. Whatever mistakes you're going to make in life, people are human, they're going to make errors, but don't make mistakes that are going to affect people and traumatize them, that they'll have to live with this trauma the rest of their life. So when it comes to bullying, I speak to the parents first. We need to educate our children on not doing this to other people because it does change them. It changed me. It changed me for a very long time. It affected me. I saw how it changed my daughter. One of my sons was bullied. So as far as the child who's being bullied, it's a very difficult scenario because when I look at it, when my daughter was going through it, her principal wasn't proactive in it. Her principal, and I don't like bringing race into it, but when it comes into it, she was a white woman who looked at it. The only time she took me seriously, which I was very appalled at, is when I brought my white mother with me, and my mother sat there and she was surprised. She's like, "Oh, I didn't know your mother was white." It shouldn't have to take race in order to fix a situation. These are children. So when it comes to bullying, I tell kids, at the very least, tell your parents. If you're not sure if you should go to your principal, let your parents have a conversation with the principal. And if your principal in your school isn't being proactive, do what I did. I went directly to the school board and I had a conversation with the director general who was in charge of that particular school. And I expressed my grievances and showed the picture of my daughter's face, who was all bruised up from being attacked on the bus. I did also ask for a meeting to sit with the parents to explain to them the ramifications of not having conversations with their daughter. And if they do have any ill feeling towards people of other colors, because the girl who did attack my daughter was white, I said that they should keep those opinions to themselves and allow their children to make their own opinions and judgments about people.
Absolutely, absolutely. I can't even imagine, having someone so helpless like children, and when they don't have the voice themselves, like, you need to be that voice for them. And you're dealing with all kinds of people who have all kinds of mentalities and come from these backgrounds. How do you align these values? That's like the toughest thing. I did want to remind everyone, if you did have any questions, you can go ahead and put them in the box, and we'll keep them to the very end of the Q&A. But since we have a minute left with Svetlana, I'll take advantage and ask you one last thing. What would you tell your younger self in a phrase now that you have worked through healing? And how do you plan to create a resort for parents? Like, parents sometimes don't know that they're wrong. They don't know because it's in culture, it's in, the way their family, religion, there's all kinds of influences. But how can you create a place to raise awareness that, by the way, what you're doing here, this is called manipulation. This is called mental abuse. How can we get the parents, since they're so evolved, their characters already, to reflect? Because I find that's the biggest challenge. That's why sometimes children cannot reach out to their parents, because they know it's a closed door.
Mm-hmm. It's a good question, Jody. As far as what I would tell my younger self is, believe in yourself and trust the process. I wasn't trusting the process of what I was going through. I wasn't believing in myself when I was younger, going through the things that I was going through. I mean, having a Russian mother, on her side of the family, there was racism. They were not happy she had a child with a Black man. So there was a lot of things that I had to endure and go through. As far as parents and how to have the communication, I was actually invited to a group to talk to parents. And what I chose was the best way to do it, after speaking to psychiatrists and psychologists, to be able to guide me through the process of how to communicate this, because I am an open parent. I'm very open-minded. My door at home is, I'm the community mom, that I have an open door policy if you need help. But for other mothers, what I noticed was showing them videos, showing them like scenarios of situations and asking them how they felt about it. And 90% of the time, they didn't realize, they were appalled by the action they were seeing, and they didn't realize that they were doing the same thing because of how they were raised and cultural backgrounds. They wanted to be different. However, they didn't realize that they were imposing the same cultural things on to their children, which then created an open discussion. Because I never really believe in telling a mother, well, you're doing your job wrong, or you're doing this wrong. Because being a mother is an extremely difficult and challenging thing, and they don't come with a manual, these children, as much as we wish they did. But it's better to have a conversation, say, you know what, have you noticed, do your children come to you for this? Are you open to having a conversation and seeing a different way of possibly approaching the situation? So that's how I would see it, as showing them. Sometimes people don't want to hear what they're doing wrong because it's hard for them to take it in mentally. But sometimes if we show them an example and then start a conversation, it kind of like, let's ease it in a little bit.
Okay. One last thing, we are at the 360 Business Summit. So here's something. How will mental wellness get a businesswoman or man become 360-degree an entrepreneur? How does that?
That's a good question. Well, mental health in general is important. And me as a mental health advocate, I always talk about this. We always want to pacify the word mental health or mental illness, and we use the word wellness to talk about it. And I've been talking about this a lot. Actually, in the mental health community, using the word mental wellness all the time instead of mental health actually pacifies and stigmatizes the mental health community. So we need to be able to start with, just like an LGBTQ plus community, we want to use the proper pronouns. In the mental health community, we don't want to stay away from those words. So we want to say, how does it affect mental health in the community? Right now, during a pandemic, it's extremely difficult to be a business. As you see, I'm at my workshop, and it's very difficult because I started a new business in the height of a pandemic and investing money into something that I was like, oh my God, I don't know if it's going to work. What I found with living with my own mental illness and struggling in my own ways is that you need to stop comparing yourself to any other business owner that's out there that you may see on social media. If you see that they're excelling and you feel that you've been stuck because of how you're feeling, either anxiety-wise, depression, reach out to them, have a conversation, and see if you can be a part of that circle. But the most important thing about being a business owner and taking care of your mental health during these challenging times is creating a day of self-care. I have self-care Sundays, which is now turned into self-care Saturday and Sunday. Taking downtime, journaling what you want, not your expectations for your business, but your dream of where you want it to go, and writing everything down, but taking a moment to even step away from social media, step away from a lot of the, the business forums that we're sometimes on every single day. Just take that downtime to really reflect on yourself and look at your business and ask people about your business. But remember that the best luxury in life is self-care, which in turn takes care of your mental health. And that is key, because without your mental health, you don't have your physical health. Without your physical and mental health, you have nothing.
Mindset. Thank you so much, Svetlana, for that. You can all find Svetlana at The Real Svetlana, and also check out her WUSA to learn more and connect with her. Thank you so much.
Thank you for the amazing questions. Thank you. You're an amazing moderator, Jody.
Thank you so much, love. Thank you. All right, so that was great. Up next, we got somebody who's gonna get you up to success. We got Robert Wise at The Wise Way to Success. He's a certified personal and professional coach. He has effectively employed a surefire blend of education, work experience, and insatiable passion for success to help people achieve their goals. Robert has co-founded Rise Anxiety and Depression Clinic. You can find it at riseclinic.ca, putting viable, drug-free life solutions at the fingertips of individuals, couples, and families. He's the president of Wise Sales Coaching as well. You can find him also at robertwisecoach.com. The Wise Way to Success, a self-help driven podcast. Robert is sought after speaker within the self-help circuit. He has been a guest speaker at countless engagements on inspirational and results-oriented topics. His biggest thing is the entrepreneur with value. How can you share some value with us today, Robert?
To share value, I'll have to unmute myself.
Yes.
That's the first way to show value. The first way. I think the way for an entrepreneur to show value is to be aware of what makes them unique and different. So we might be in the same field, or you might be in the same field as someone, but where do you stand out? What value do you bring that someone else doesn't? And that's actually very simple for me or for other people. No one else is you. So the value that you could bring is your experience, your life experiences. I've shared with people my mental health struggle, that I was hospitalized, because nobody, people don't all have that experience, or they, if they did, it's not the same experience as me. So bring value to your audience by showing them what value you have to offer with your experience, with your mindset, with your knowledge. And I think that we all need to find our own unique value proposition, your UVP. And by doing that, you will show people the value that you have that they may not even know you have.
That's amazing. So if you want to help an entrepreneur kind of like shape that value, and if, let's say, they can't find their X factor, what's an exercise or what's something that you can help them, clarify and focus, right, on sharing that?
I'm very big on lists. So I tell people to create a list. List what you like, list what you're good at, list your experiences. So how do you know what you're good at? How do you know what you have to offer? By taking time to explore yourself and understand and know yourself. Because if you're struggling with, well, I don't know what I have different, I don't know what to offer, most likely it's because you don't know yourself, or you don't know how to position things you've been through to use to help other people as a unique value proposition. So my best advice on that is create a list, or you could do, this is actually a really good tool. It's called a SWOT, an SW, it's your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threat, SWOT. So you write down your strengths, you write down your weaknesses, you write down your opportunities, and you write down your threats. Your threats are your competitors. So that's also a really good way. That's actually how businesses actually find their UVP, by doing their SWOT. It shows them where they're strong, where they have room for improvement, who their competitors are, and where are their opportunities. So I would start with a SWOT. Again, the SWOT is a list. It builds a list. It's just heading it. Strength, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, but you are creating lists.
That's amazing. I want to remind everybody that Robert Wise also has a breakout book called How to Sell the Wise Way. So can we find more exercises in this book? Because
absolutely, this is what's in my book, exactly how to do it. And what I will tell people is I am all over social media, and I do have a podcast. So my gift for anybody who subscribes and sends me a private message, I will email them a free copy of my book. So all you have to do is subscribe to the Wise Way to Success podcast. Subscribe to it. Show me that you say I subscribed. I also have TikTok. Follow me, and I will send you a book for free.
God, that is
how to sell the Wise Way. And I won't brag, but I was flown to Vegas for that book.
What?
And it was apparently the best training they ever had in their life, according to my review that someone sent. So, and it was based on that book. So I would recommend that you read it. I'm giving it to you for free. So all you have to do is subscribe. It's pretty simple.
Amazing. So we can find you at The Wise Way to Success. We can also
Wise Way to Success on YouTube. My trailer for the show is coming out today. It actually was filmed in 6K. So it's taking a long time to process, but the trailer for the show is coming out today. All my episodes actually have been now filmed in 6K. So it's going to take a while to process them when they come out, but not only is the film quality good, the content is excellent. Self-sabotage, which we have to stop doing, mindset. Be careful of the toxic people around you. Be careful of who's around you. People will bring you down. There's crabs out there that will bring you down, not because they're bad, because they're scared, and fear is contagious. So the podcast is going to help people with their mental health. It's going to help people be successful. So it's definitely part of my journey to help people. And I highly recommend that you subscribe, follow me, and just DM me, and I will send you a copy of my book. Just send me your email.
That's a very generous offer, Robert, and very rich. Like when we're focusing on mental health and habits, right now we're starting this business summit on a great, strong start, everyone. So thank you so much for that, Robert. And I'm going to definitely reach out to you and the Entrepreneur with Value. You can find Robert Wise. Thank you so much for that. Up next, we got Latoya Belfin. So Latoya is an author, elementary school teacher, and entrepreneur. She earned a Bachelor of Arts in Education from McGill University and a Diploma of Collegiate Studies in Social Science from Vanier College. Latoya.
Hi.
Here. All right, let's share a little bit more about you, girl.
Hi, everyone. Hi, everyone. So I'm here to talk about the beauty of diversity in business and why is that important. So I'm going to get straight into it. So as a person of diverse background and experiences, I'm always an advocate for diversity and inclusion. But however, I want to assess this question using two perspectives. The first perspective is as an owner to a company, probably a successful business company. I want to look at that question. What is the importance of diversity or the beauty of diversity in business from that perspective? The second perspective is as say a new entrepreneur. So these questions, I started to critically assess this. I want to assess this, and I said, as an owner to a company, does my team entail members of diversity? Is my team diverse in gender, age, experience, race, culture, religion, etc.? Often when we hear diversity, we often think about a person of color or a different religion, but there's so many different parts of a person, parts of a community, parts of a culture that we need to be mindful of in business. So as a business owner, I'm just going to look at these couple examples. For example, Kim Kardashian, she released a shapewear line, and that shapewear line was first called Kimono. To her surprise, she found that the Asian culture was in uproar because to the Asian culture, kimono has a specific cultural significance. So she had to totally scrap it off the shelves, rebrand, start over. She lost hundreds of thousands of dollars. Rihanna last year in her Savage Fenty lingerie modeling show, her team used music that subtly to our ears had a Muslim prayer just in the back of it. But however, to the Muslim community, it was immediately identifiable. And she as well had to issue an apology. It was total uproar. And there she had to remove that from her show. The next incident is also recently Gucci. They released a sweater And they publicized this sweater as being part of the Jamaican flag. And to many Jamaicans, the colors didn't match up because it was the colors of a Rastafarian religion. So I guess they thought they were doing something really amazing, but their facts were really off. And lastly, in Montreal, I believe probably last year, there was a total uproar for non-essential and essential products, where a Uniprix had basically deemed Black hair products as non-essential. And that was also met with uproar. So what do we have here? We have the questions. Are there people on these business teams that are diverse? Are you hiring people that can add value in that way that you could have probably Kim Kardashian? Do you have a diverse and inclusion specialist that would have said, hey, probably check with this person about the use of kimono, or maybe in the Uniprix example, she did have a Black manager on staff, but are we presenting opportunities for people of diverse background to weigh in on certain topics, to be able to give them the platform to say, hey, what do you think about this idea? Do you feel like this will cause any type of unsettling uproar? Do you feel like we're bordering on disrespecting a community or religion or people? We have to be mindful of all those things as a business owner, period. You have to make sure that you deal with those topics. So the next perspective is as an entrepreneur. So basically, I'm going to use a Rihanna example. Well, sort of. Again, Rihanna has been super successful with her Fenty beauty line. And of course, she's a celebrity. Of course, she's popular. But I believe she used her experiences as a woman of color and how difficult it was. As for me, I probably have 15 different shades of makeup right now. And just trying to get the perfect shade, the Femi's laughing, it's quite difficult. But I believe she connected with a community that found it extremely difficult to find shades. And she provided over 42 shades for yellow tones, for darker skin tones. And she was able to reach so many individuals, even for fairer skinned individuals, and give them a product that related to them, not because of what it is, but that it related to an experience, a feeling, a connectivity in that way. And for me, in my perspective on storytelling, as Ellie, he's a marketing genius here, as he knows, it's really hard to identify yourself in so many saturated markets. Where do I fit in? I want to be an entrepreneur. Where do I go? And for me, as a new author, I as well had to figure out, where do I fit in? As you know, the market for books is so saturated. And there were a lot of Black books. There are a lot of Black books, Black love, Black strength, love your Black skin. But for me, I am not just a Black individual. I am coming from a diverse background that may not be the same as a Black American or Black Canadian. So my view, my perspective, everything I bring to the table is actually quite different than the next Black individual. So therefore, I had to really, as Robert was saying, you have to look for your value. What differentiates you? Look within yourself. What does my experience say? How can I use that to benefit myself in business? How can I stand out? And I had to do that when I started writing my books. I figured out a way to write from a diverse perspective, and that was from an Afro-Caribbean perspective. And just to tell stories, just to tell diverse stories. Not that anything's wrong with Black love books or Black skin books or love your Black self books, but I wanted to just tell a story with a Black dad in a home, present in a home, and his son just loving everything that he's doing and thinking that he's a superhero. I also wanted to write a story, A Tale of Two Chopsticks, and merge two cultures bonding together over the love of chopsticks. And even as a person that is obviously diverse in culture, I knew that I was stepping into something that I had no knowledge of. So I went and I researched and I got a professional, my friend who's Japanese, to help me understand what is the significance of chopsticks. I can't believe that some people, sometimes we touch different topics and we end up offending and we're like, well, I didn't do anything wrong. Figure out, find a way to connect first with the material that you're putting out. and don't just use diversity as a means of extortion. If you really want to celebrate a culture, know about the culture, figure out what the culture is saying. And in closing, Jody, as business owners, you want to make it a mission to purposefully hire people of diversity and create a safe space for those individuals to weigh in on important decisions. Not just hire the quota, not just have the one Black person, the one Asian person, just to, you know, have your company, yeah, my company is diverse. Really be intentional about it. And what does all of this have to do with entrepreneurship? See everything that makes you different as an asset, not a setback, and use it to differentiate yourself and provide a service targeted to reach people who are looking for exactly what you bring to the table, because they are looking. I didn't know that they were looking, but they are looking. Then reach the people who didn't even realize that they needed exactly what you had to offer. That's the surprise, and that's the beauty. Thank you. I hope I didn't go over time.
No, you're good. And listen, that was so inspiring, because you know, in business, people tend to just be very limited to one way, and you know, it's the strategy, and that's what we need to respect. But if you want to go broader, and when you live in a place where there's people of all kinds of ethnicities, yes, gender right now, the way we define gender has changed, you know, so we need to update, we need to connect. When we connect with respect, we will ask the right questions to be able to cater to everyone. Exactly. Latoya, some of the accomplishments that you have had here, let's talk about that a little bit. Okay, so you've also created a goal-setting guide and social media platform to encourage, motivate, provide resources and guidance to women seeking to become successful.
Yes.
In all areas of their lives, right?
All areas, yeah.
The Winning Women's Guide to Global Crushing.
Global crushing, that is new, but I like that. Global crushing, global goals crushing. I like that idea. So basically, I created for myself this challenge. Nobody told me to publish 5 books in 4 weeks. Nobody said that, but here I went and challenged myself to create, design, illustrate, and publish 5 books. I ended up doing 6 or 7, I believe, in 4 weeks. And I did that to challenge myself, but I also realized I was successful in doing so because I am naturally a to-do list person, and which could be annoying for some. I'm like, write it out, write it down, write it down, write it down. And then I'm like, verify, verify, verify. I love using those words because it helps me to make sure that I'm doing what I'm supposed to do, when I'm supposed to do, and stay on track. And I had basically at that point, he was 6 months, 7 months old, and I will be illustrating with him on my hip. And I would be like, okay, and trying to do what I have to do. But I needed to figure out a way to focus myself. And so my goal setting guide, which I just happen to have right here, is structured, is structured to help you to
look to the camera. Let's all really take a nice, good look at it.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's like massively filled in, right? Okay.
What is this book? Is it an exercise book?
It's basically a goal setting guide. So it will help you using our principles of the SMART principle to set your goals 5 years, 1 year, 6 months, and then break those goals down every month, and then break those goals down every week, and then every day, like small steps until you reach the bigger goal. And along the journey, I've created characters in the book that will guide you and help you and encourage you with motivational quotes, gratitude sections, journaling sections. As Savannah was saying, like, it's important to, you know, connect mentally, because if my mind isn't right, I can't do a single thing. So it's a lot of that in the book as well.
The Queen, the beauty of diversity in business. Thank you so much for all of the value. Can you just let us know, where can we find that book? Do we DM you at your...
You can DM me as well at Latoya Belfon John on Instagram, but my website is www.labworkspublishing.com. You will find every single thing there. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for that. I'm so encouraged to get that book right now and just get to work. That is like the entrepreneur mindset, right? Like, how can we grow? Pivot, pivot, pivot. Thank you so much. So next up, we have Karen Lim. All right, so Karen Lim, I don't know how we can shine the camera on you here a little bit on Zoom, if the host can just help me, but I'm going to start. So Karen Design Studio started her wedding design career by creating beautiful wedding stationery for couples. A few years later, she started decorating and then eventually kicked off her wedding floral design services. She has an eye for design and loves all things crafty and creative. A few years into her design career, she was no longer attracting her dream couples. She almost quit and left the wedding industry until she figured out what was wrong. Her biggest topic is your brand is not just a logo. Karen, how are you today? You just need to unmute yourself.
Hi. How are you? Okay, so I'm gonna share my screen. Can you see? Can you see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, perfect. Okay, so hi everyone, my name is Karine. You might know me as the wedding flower designer, and I also have an online shop selling preserved and dry flowers. And I do wear another hat. So I'm also a brand and website designer. So today my topic is why branding is more than just a logo. Sorry, I'm just gonna move my screen because I can't see my own screen.
Yeah, I think if everybody just moves the little videos that pop to the right, just move them to the left, and then you'll be able to see a little bit better.
Okay, so when you see a logo as a brand, it's a very common misconception. The term logo and brand are not interchangeable. In fact, the logo falls under the umbrella of the brand and not side by side. So I wanted to first define a logo and a brand because a lot of people get these two terms confused. So a logo is a mark or symbol that represents a brand. It's purely for identification. It's part of the brand identity, which I will go into in a bit. A brand is the emotional experience that people have when they engage with your business. It's the meaning that others attach to your business. More precisely, this is the company's brand image. So let's take a look at this. As you can see, like the big umbrella, that's your business brand. And then within that, there are two main categories. And you can see that the logo is only a small percentage of your brand. There's like all these other elements that makes up your brand. And obviously I don't have all the elements listed. This is just a small example of what's included in your brand. And I want to give you a quick example here, the Apple company. Do you know why Steve Jobs named his company Apple? It was simply because he was inspired by his fruit diet at the time. And Steve Jobs thought that the name Apple was fun, spirited, not intimidating, and more approachable. So that's why he named his company Apple. And you can see that this logo, it can be a logo for other businesses like farmers market or health coach. Who would have thought that this logo would have nothing to do with food and health? It was only through years of branding, marketing, customer service, product launches that this Apple mark became known as the mark of imagination, technology, design, innovation, and so much more. So this is a great example that a logo is just a visual mark. It has no meaning and no emotions until you brand this logo. Branding gives meaning to the logo. There are many elements that come together to create your business brand. And I want to compare with you brand identity and brand image side by side. So as you can see here, brand identity, that's the visible and tangible elements of your brand. So it includes your logo, colors, fonts, tagline, your graphics, your imagery, the words that you use to communicate your language, your tone of voice. That's a brand identity. And brand image, like we said, is the meaning that people attach to your business. So it's the customer service, customer experience, beliefs, emotions, reputation, credibility, and so much more. Your brand identity, that's how we want people to see us. That's the ideal. Whereas the brand image, that's what people say about us. That's a reality. Because I can say that my business is this, is that. I can say that my preserved flowers are the best quality in the world, the best customer service. But is that really what other customers are saying about my product and about my customer service? So that's the reality. The brand identity, that's we have 100% control over our brand identity because that's what we put out. But the brand image, we have no control over. Although as a business, we can influence what other people think of our brand. Every business, even nonprofit organizations and charity, we strive to build a strong and positive brand image to achieve certain goals, whether it's financial goals or if you're a charity, your goals to help other people. And there are many advantages to having a strong brand. It can make or break your company or your organization's success. And here are some reasons why you want to aim for a strong and positive brand image. I won't go into every one of them. You can screenshot this if you want, and it's also up on my blog. So that's it. That's all the time I have. Of course, this was just barely touching on the surface of your business brand. I do have a complete 14-step guide. Just lost.
That's okay. I have some interesting questions to ask you.
There you go. I have a complete 14-step guide and workbook to help you to build a strategic brand. In this workbook, you will see that the logo design is actually only in step 8 of the 14 steps. So because once again, your brand is more than just a logo. There are many steps that you have to take before sketching up your logo even. So look at it this way, a logo you can, although like we do put a lot of research into designing a logo, but it can take 2 seconds, right? Like the apple can take 2 seconds to draw, but your brand, it takes time and effort to build, to manage and to optimize. So it's like a long-term thing.
That's amazing. Thank you so much, Karen, for sharing all of that. So we know also about you that 16 years ago, you were put in a position where you had to do a rebranding. So you had to tell your story different and go through all of those steps in a different way. What's one advice that you would recommend to a business owner if they don't have their branding set up or they see the need to cater to someone else? What piece of advice would you give them to rebrand?
To rebrand, to really like take a look at the situation now and see, like there's so many questions and so many reasons why we might need a rebrand. It might be the market, it might be the target audience that you're no longer speaking to them. It might be like for example, my designs had changed throughout the years, and it was no longer what I started out to be. And my branding and my website no longer reflected what I want to do now, who I want to attract now. So like these are some of the things that you might want to consider to rebrand. Or maybe you have expanded your business, things like that. I do have a detailed blog post on that. If you want to message me, I can send you the link, whoever would like to take a look.
Is that link available to anybody who messages you, Karen?
Yeah, it's on my blog. I'll send you the direct link. Amazing. Or I'll put it in the chat now.
Okay, that's amazing. That's amazing. Thank you so much. Is there something else you wanted to share with us?
No, if you have any questions, I do have some tips and stuff on my blog if you want to take a look.
Amazing.
Yeah, I'll send out the link.
We're seeing your blog. I don't know how to get back to your beautiful face. Maybe you need to do stop share screen, I think. I'm not sure, but that was very, very insightful. And I think, we're just looking for different ways as entrepreneurs to connect, whether it's, your mindset, whether it's your messaging, whether it's how you present your brand. So thank you so much, Karen, for that. You can find Karen at Karen Design Studios on Instagram and reach out to her for more information. Thank you. All right.
Is my screen off now?
Yes, now we see your face.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
Thank you so much. All right, so next we've got Lynn Sock. So Lynn, you can find her at Money and Strategy. I've seen her all over different platforms, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, tuned into some of her webinars as well. She is a Montreal-based financial security advisor and founder of Sohon, assurances and services Service financier. I don't know if I'm supposed to read this in French or English.
It's all right. It's all good. We got the picture. You did very well.
We're just Franglish. Okay, let's just face it.
That's it.
She offers insurance, mortgage, and investment solutions to her clients, primarily women and entrepreneurs. My ears are going to be... through her workshops and webinars, Lynn is passionate about teaching financial literacy using simplicity and transparency. Every Canadian has the right to learn how to generate personal wealth, no matter their situation. The key is taking the first step and learning how to. The importance of financial management in business. Lynn, what can you share with us today?
Where do I even start? Well, first of all, for the record, before 2019, I had zero social media presence. So this is all learned. I don't reinvent the wheel. I say that about my business. I say that about social media platforms. I don't reinvent the wheel. This is all stuff that's readily available for us to take advantage of. I just want to start by giving everyone a bit of a background. I didn't come from money. I mean, my family and I came to Canada in 1980. We're Cambodian. My parents, my brother and I escaped the Cambodian War. So we arrived in Canada as refugees. The only thing I knew about money growing up is that we didn't have any. Don't ask us for anything, so that's all I knew about money. Those were my money lessons. I got into the industry in the early, when I was 22, 23. I was a young mother of one, recently married, and I spent the next 7 years working for a wealth management firm. I left the industry for personal reasons, which later became my divorce. And then I came back into the industry about 7 years ago. Why is this important? It's a message I want to deliver because when I first started in the industry, what I like to call chapter one, I did everything by the book. I passed some exams, I got, cute little certificate, I got a license, and I just managed money the way that I was taught in the books and by the wealth management firm that I was with. When I went through what I went through, I don't know how many people here have been through a divorce, but you quickly learn how marriage is actually a contractual bind between two people, a financial contractual contract between two people. And you start learning how money really works and how a patrimony works and what happens in a divorce, what happens if you're common law, how money's separated, how taxes work, how do you receive money for your children from the government, and all this comes into play. So my chapter two, so the last 7 years of my career, I've really focused on finding out for myself all the nooks and crannies about the financial system. I decided to start my own firm. I've been self-employed this time around. I refused to, I remember fighting with I'm remarried now, so I remember fighting with my husband because he wanted me to go work at a firm, and I was adamant on creating my own thing because I had my own vision. I had my own vision in mind, and I knew that no wealth management firm, no bank was going to appreciate that artistic creativity that I have for the firm that I have. Anyone who's attended any of my webinars, I'm very crass, I'm very transparent. Sometimes I might swear here or there, but that's part of the experience in working with me. I like to keep it real. And when it comes to money and finance, the industry is created in a way so that regular people who don't have the financial educational background don't understand what they're signing. There's a reason why when you open up an RRSP, you have to sign 40 documents, because no one's going to read it, right? And what's in those documents. So I actually take my time with clients and go over everything. This is not a one and done deal. Trust me, if any of you ever take an initial consultation with me, the first consultation, you have to plan for at least an hour and a half, because we'll just talk about everything. I don't know if you had any questions prepared, or you just want me to keep on talking.
I'm actually loving what you're saying. I mean, let's take a look. Let's recap this for a second. You went through personal changes when it came to your personal life that put you into asking yourself questions when it comes to financial. I do know that seeing a lot of business coaches, one of the first questions they ask you, it's let's talk about your numbers, right? You've done all of that, back end work, your mindset, your mental health, your branding, your this and that. But then how do we move forward? You want this to be profitable at the end, right? So rarely do people, I find they just tend to look at how much they're investing, what's my return on my investment. There's all of these other things that can impact really what your return on investment is, when it comes to your RSPs and your personal stuff. I was actually on a call yesterday talking about registering your business, and who knew? So priorityship and then this and that. And I was like, whoa, what's happening, right? So that's a great way. So just highlighting that moment when you pivoted from working for someone to an entrepreneur yourself, when you have all this noise telling you don't do it, and this is people in your circle, this is like your family, how do you come out of that? What do you tell yourself?
Well, here's the key. I don't tell anybody what I'm doing. So if you want to eliminate that noise, I have never asked anybody for any business advice, their opinion or whatnot, unless it's someone who's been through it and I'm asking them how they did it. I don't call my girlfriends and ask them what they think. My family, my parents still don't know what I do for a living, because I think they think I work for a bank, and that's okay with me, because I just don't want to get into that conversation with them. They're like a lot of immigrants who just want us to work in the corporate world. When I was growing up, the only people who owned businesses were rich people, not regular Joe Blow or, the person down the street. So I don't think my parents would understand, and that's okay. I'm not here to please anybody except and please my significant other, who, will suffer if I make really bad financial decisions, and my children. Those are the only two people I have to answer to. And so how do I block out the noise? I don't bring it in the first place. And that's, I think, an important lesson for a lot of people who are thinking of going into business. I know that COVID is a pivotal year for a lot of people. Some people have been laid off. Some people have had their hours cut. Some people are starting to see the real corporate culture of their employers. And so they're starting to wonder, should I start a business on the side? My advice to them, and this is, a lot of my clientele, my advice to them is, don't listen to people. Sometimes your friends and family are the worst people to tell, because they love you, they care about you, and they have your best intention at heart. But let's face it, the majority of people don't want to see people in our circle doing better than them. And that's the real honest truth.
I think that's a real life slap in the face, because you're very raw. I'm going to be very raw.
Yeah, I'm, and this is the PG version. So
oh my gosh.
We're being recorded right now. You should see me in my private workshops.
That's nice on camera. But that is great. And you mentioned an important point. Like right now, there's a lot of people lost their jobs. If you're coming from a background of like, I didn't come from money, we came as refugees. That's almost like saying, would you consider that that's like starting from zero? I don't want to call it something it's not. Okay. So someone who's lost their job and they're trying to open their business. Mm-hmm. What piece of advice? Because it's almost like they need to start a new page. What is the first thing when it comes to financially do they need to look? Because they might be like, I don't have the money to start a business.
First thing you have to do is look at your actual picture, your financial picture right now. You have to be true and honest to yourself. Open those bills, open those emails that you don't want to open those bank statements that you don't want to see. You have to see where you're at right now. Because whatever business ideas that you have in your head, you have to make sure that you have enough to live, right? I mean, you don't want to start investing into something with every single last penny that you have and you don't have something to fall back on, right? So the first thing you have to do is really be honest with yourself and look at your numbers, your current numbers. Take out all your statements, every single last one. Open up every single last one of your liabilities, your bills, the expenses. Calculate how much you need to cover every month if stuff hits the fan. Everybody has that number. There's certain bills that need to be paid every single month, no matter what's going on with you. Your rent has to get paid, your mortgage has to get paid, all those expenses that have to get covered. That's what you need to look at. And then we could talk. Then we could talk about what's the business you want to get into. What are the startup costs? How long do you have to wait to get your return on investment? Each business is different. There are some, like my business, when I started out, there wasn't a huge overhead, right? There were my licensing and my insurance coverage that I had to pay for. But, I run a virtual platform for my advisors. So I don't have an office space to take care of. So, to get back to your question, the first thing that you have to do is really take a look at the honest numbers, the honest current numbers of your financial situation. before anything else. And it's hard. It's hard to do because when you have an idea, you're excited, right? And you're like, oh my God, I'm going to start this business. I can't wait. And I see, you know, this person's done it, that person's done it. No, no, no. Back it up a bit. What's the situation now, right now?
It's almost like you have to face your fear because people are so fearful of reality and confrontation.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, again, we can go back into the whole mindset of like, you know, how you look at things in your circle. And one thing I've told myself is you need to get out of the circle you're in, join another circle, a circle of people that you look up to that are going to help you get there. And one of your favorite lines, I'm going to share this: life can get complicated, your finances don't need to be. And I think that's beautifully said, because when you know how to manage your life, when you know how to manage your finances, you'll learn how to manage your business better, and you'll get the results you want to see, right?
Yeah. In business, I always say there are 3 people that you need to keep around you that are dear to you. You need to have constant collaboration and communication with them. You need a good financial advisor, you need a good accountant, and you need a good lawyer. All right. These are 3 people in any business. I don't care what you're doing. I don't care if you're in graphic design. I don't care if you're a doctor. I don't care if you're a physiotherapist. I don't care what business you're in. These are the 3 people that you need to have on your team that will actually answer your phone calls when you call them, that will answer your emails, and that are willing to talk strategies with you, and they're not just there to sell you something. You know, a good accountant isn't someone who just calls you, you know, around now to make sure that you have your T4A slips, you know, or your T4 slips. In business, your accountant is someone who's going to talk tax strategies to you. Like this morning, I spoke with my accountant because we're doing my year end and we're trying to figure out, am I going to pay myself with dividends or with the salary? What are my personal plans coming up, and how will this affect me personally? So these are the discussions that I have with my accountant, not send me your documents and I'll file your taxes for you. Anybody could do that. I need someone who's going to work with me and strategize with me for my money.
These are great tips. I need this recording so I can like refresh it up. But thank you so much, Lynn. You can find Lynn at Money and Strategy to ask your questions. You got some people clapping and
my biggest fan, Diane.
And I'm so delighted to say that it's Q&A time, guys. We got 5 minutes to ask the questions. I do know that we have a bunch of praises and applauses and stuff in the chat box. So I'm just gonna try to scroll up a little bit. People are loving the presentation by Svetlana, by Robert, Latoya, LinkedIn Queen, got Ellie's coming up soon, the Lab Work Publishing. So I think that if you guys have any questions, just retype them in the chat box and we can go ahead and address it to the amazing panelists and presenters we have today. So this is a person who I've connected with. I've learned so much from social media, extremely active, and has added value almost on every post he's had. Ellie Najm at Ellie Marketing. Ellie is a marketing strategist and small business advocate. He helps entrepreneurs strive and distinguish themselves from their competitors using social media and bold marketing strategies. So his biggest topic is marketing strategies in business. He's definitely bold because his yellow and gray content is always flashing our feed. Ellie, how are you today?
I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm well. I'm so excited to hear what you have to say.
I'm excited to be here. Thank you for having me on.
Thank you.
Perfect. So I'm going to start about talking a bit about how I gained my experience. But do you have any questions that you would like to ask first?
I'm going to let you do the intro and then I'll pick your brain.
Okay, perfect. So, you know, I've been doing this for over a year now, and I was always obsessed by marketing. So especially small business marketing, because I find it it's more fulfilling than working for a huge corporate company, because I know what it's like to work a day job that you don't really like while trying to build a dream on the side, right? So my job is to basically turn these dreams into a reality by helping entrepreneurs really increase sales to a point where they can leave their day job. And basically, this is the most rewarding thing in the world for me, right? So I am recently working as also a marketing director for a physiotherapy company named Posturo Plus. And I'm currently working with other small businesses on the side too. And I did study marketing in school, but more importantly, I always learned. So I spend all of my free time almost learning, reading, or listening to podcasts about marketing. So this is what I find that differentiates me from other marketing strategists. I understand that there is always place for improvement. So, and the cool thing about this is when I learn something new, I immediately test it out. And if it works, I share this knowledge immediately with my clients. And I mainly specialize in digital marketing, but can also help with packaging and branding.
That is amazing. I know myself, I followed you often and saved all your posts and like reflect back onto it. So I highly encourage everyone to reach out to Ellie. Ellie, I wanted to ask you something. Could
Yes.
you give us tips and strategies on how our small business owners can market their brands and how can they get better sales? Especially
Okay.
now through Instagram, where everybody, it's like if you're not on Instagram, I don't know how you're going to run your business. Right?
Exactly, exactly. There's a saying that I love. It says, when you open a business but you don't market it online, it's as if you're opening a business and not telling anyone about it, right? Because now everything is digital. And even if you've been in business for a long time, or whether you're just starting out, doing what I'm just going to say right now, it's a must. So you're not only selling a product or a service, you're selling a cause on social media. Just doing this will help you increase sales. So I'm talking about really finding a human reason for what you do. For example, I was taking a look at Robert Wise's page, and basically his vision is to help you overcome self-limiting beliefs, right? So small businesses can do pretty much the same thing. I'm going to give you a quick example. Let's say you're selling bracelets, right? You could position your brand that way. You can tell your clients, I want you to buy my bracelet, and every time you look at it, I want you to smile because life is not that serious, and I want you to live a happy life. So now all of a sudden, you're not only selling a product, you're selling self-help, you're selling well-being. You know what I mean? And now they will now associate your bracelet with happiness, which subsequently will lead to associate your product with happiness. And in return, they will associate your brand with happiness. So this in turn helps with your branding as well. And when you create a compelling cause on social media for your brand, ask yourself who really needs to hear this story, not who needs my product, because bracelet, how can you really know who really needs a bracelet? Who needs to hear your story? And if you notice, I didn't really talk about the bracelet. I talked about the story behind it, right? And if you've been following my page for a while, you know that I always talk about defining your ideal customer and then adapting your content to fit their interests, right? So I'm going to tell you a bit of a story. There's an insurance company in the US that had an amazing content marketing strategy, right? So as we all know, insurance sometimes can be a bit boring. It's not something that people always want to read about. So what they did, they engaged with their audience. They basically tried to see what are their likes, what are their dislikes. And they tried to, actually, they did publish a magazine, and on their Instagram page as well, they always talk about classic cars because they find that basically their audience, this is one of their preferences. This is what they like. So classic cars has nothing to do with insurance, but 80% of their content strategy is based around classic cars, right? So how can small businesses apply this? It's really simple. They need to engage with their audience. And I'm not talking about engagement as a marketing strategy just to increase your sales and increase fidelity. It's a way for your business also to learn who your customers are. Because it's easy to say, yes, 80% of your content strategy has to be based around your interests, about your audience's interests. But at the same time, how are you going to know what are their interests? You need to interact with them on a human level. In the DM, send them a voice message like you always do, Judy. This is perfect. Learn what do they like, what don't they like, right? And if you ever need help doing this, I would be more than happy to help you. You can just send me a DM and we can schedule a virtual meeting for that.
Ellie, that's so amazing and it's so true. I'm always sending people voice notes. Some of the people that were connected here on Instagram, you receive quite a few from me. I love it. I love it because we do want to be more human, and Instagram is such a saturated filled with all kinds of people, and people are on there with different intentions. And so you really don't know, like, do you want to follow, or do you really want to like follow, right?
Exactly.
So that's great. So here's another question to ask you. What do you find is often the mistake that small business owners do?
Okay. So this is something I really want to get off my chest, okay? Because I'm always being asked this in the DMs.
Hear it, because clearly.
So you probably already received a message about those follower loops, right? So they send you a message with 10 accounts and they're like, follow these accounts, and then you're going to get like 100, 200, 300 followers. So people often associate their follower count with success, right? So what are they going to do? They're going to join these engagement groups because they think it's going to increase their visibility. So follower count not only doesn't correlate to success, it simply feeds your ego, right? And it does absolutely nothing in return. So ask yourself this: would you rather have more followers or more sales? You would rather have more sales, I hope, right? So these are two things you need to do. First is to create your ideal buyer persona. Now, it's easy to say, it's a bit challenging to do. So if you have issues finding your ideal customer, you can still send me a DM and I can help you with that. And the second thing you need to do is find out what their interests are, right? So 80% of your content should be dedicated to your audience's interests, and only 20% should be promoting your brand, right? So if I take the same example I talked about earlier, I talked about a bracelet company that sells happiness, right? Every time you look at the bracelet, the brand told you, I want you to smile every time you look at it. So they're not only going to post pictures of the bracelets, they're also maybe going to post a fact about smiling. Did you know that smiling can automatically make you feel happier? So this is related to the audience's interest. This is what I mean by that.
That's definitely amazing, because I think it's not just about, you've done all of that work in the back end. Now, how do you actually sell through? I come from a sales and marketing, not so much marketing, but sales background. And there's always been like a miscommunication between the sales team and the marketing team, because there's a way to do it. And then it's just finding what works for you, and I guess communicating and addressing. And when you're a business owner and you're starting up, you think that you have it all because that's you, it's a reflection of who you are. But really, is everyone else like that? And so it's a great way to reach out to the marketing team, which Ellie would be the marketing king. Got a lot of queens now. To help us shape that strategy and really, serve, add value, but also get a really return on our investment. Ellie, how can we reach you, and what kind of services do you offer if anybody here needed some help?
Yeah, so you can send me a message by DM. Basically, my username on Instagram is ellie.marketing, which is my username on Zoom here as well. And you can just send me a message. Ask your question. If you have only one question, we don't need to like schedule a virtual meeting. You can just ask me the question. I'll answer it on the DM. And if you want more information, I offer a free consultation call, especially for all people that are attending here today. I can actually book an hour with you just to give you more tips, very specific to your business, of course.
This is great. We have so many offers here on the table. I think we're a big community, thanks to Montreal vendors, that we are widening our networks and our circle and really shaping that culture, right? That's going to help us. And I really hope that we're all going to be able to just move forward and get to where we need to be together. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
All right, so up next we got Samah, who's right up my alley of health and wellness. Samah Adel, her Instagram is _Samah_AD. She's passionate, visionary, and health and wellness advocate. Samah is a mompreneur who left the corporate world to focus on running an online business where she helps women live the life they deserve and flourish in every aspect of their lives. She empowers women to become the best version of themselves by taking care of their body, their skin, and their mindset. She's a firm believer in that everything you consume consumes you. Through her platform, she really wants women to feel safe, beautiful, and empowered. Samah, how are you today? And how can you help us as women and men shape those goals?
So can you hear me, guys?
Yeah.
Good. So, hi everybody. Thank you, Judy. I'm really happy to be here with you. I know Judy before even like this event, so it's really a pleasure for me to be here. Thank you to Nifemi for giving me this amazing opportunity to be present with you guys.
You're welcome.
For that, and I'm also grateful for every single person who took the time to be here with us. So as Judy said, my name is Samah. A little bit about my story before I start. So 4 years ago, I was implied in a 2-car accident, and physically and mentally, it was very, very hard for me, especially after the second accident, since I saw death in front of me, and I fell in such a black hole in my life for almost 2 years. It was really challenging for me, and thanks God to self-growth, thanks God to mentors who crossed my road and elevate me and help me to see my potential. And for that reason, especially, I wanted to help women also as other women help me. As Judy said, I empower women to become the best version of themselves by taking care of their body, their skin, and their mindset. And we know how mindset is really important. It is everything, and we should take care of it every single day. And I will talk about it later. And also, we should take care of our mindset by feeding our brain the same way we should feed our body with good and fresh food. Judy, I know you're an expert in this. Also, take care of your of the business owner, taking care of the business owner, sorry, which means taking care of yourself before you take care of your business is really important. What I realized with time is that your business will never grow if you don't grow. So as an entrepreneur, we need to take care of ourselves. We need to feed our brain with good stuff by reading books, listening to podcasts, surround ourselves with people who challenge us to really become better, so that we can rewash our brain and finally can become that person who achieved that goal. That's why it's important, again, to take care of yourself throughout the journey. So today my topic is how to set goals that matters while staying well and healthy. When you set a goal, it's not about saying, for example, I want to be rich, or I want to have a business, or I want to be an entrepreneur. This is not the right way of setting goals, because it is too large, and a goal should be fixed by using a simple tool that is called SMART, like Latoya said. It has to be specific, it has to be measurable, it has to be achievable, relevant, and time bound. Also, what is important to apply is these 3 words that I will tell you about, is be, do, have. You need to be that person who will put the actions and do the work so that you can achieve that goal and have that result. This is really, really important. And also, your actions need to be aligned with your goals. Let's say, for example, you set the goal that you want to work out 3 days a week for the next 3 months for 1 hour each day, and you skip the second month, the whole second month. This means you're not aligned with your goal. And listen carefully, because this is really important. Not achieving a goal doesn't mean you don't deserve it. It doesn't mean you're not enough. It doesn't mean you're not capable. And that's why the mindset is so important, as I said in the beginning, because maybe you did everything. Maybe you were aligned with your actions. Maybe you were close to that goal, but yet you don't see the results. Well, you know what? Maybe it wasn't meant to be for now. So now it's time to change the plan, not the goal. And they say all roads lead to Rome. Well, maybe you just need to change the road, but not the final destination. I will tell you a story. When I started my business, I didn't have a specific goal. I was saying, yes, I want that amount of money and I want that result, but I was not even aware why I wanted that amount of money, why I wanted that result, for what reasons. I didn't have a vision. But with time, what I realized is that clarity in my vision is key, and clarity comes with actions. This is really important, because maybe you don't have a specific goal, maybe you don't know what is your future goal, but through action, you will see more clarity. And when the vision is crystal clear, then you do the reverse engineering work and you ask yourself, what does this vision, this goal, takes me in terms of action every month, every week, every day? And this will really help you to really achieve your goal. I will end up with this, my friends. A lot of people tell me, hey, Samah, you're lucky, you have this and you have that, but I don't believe in luck. And I think luck is when hard work meets opportunity, and this partnership between the two creates magic. For me, it's important to be prepared, to work hard for that goal you want to achieve. And like today, I had an amazing opportunity, which was one of my goals this year, to be able to talk and share with people my knowledge. So when Ifemi approached me, she saw something in me, I think. So because I was preparing myself for my personal goals, which was to be a speaker in this kind of events, I wasn't expecting her at all. However, she was the opportunity that met the preparation, and here I am today with you, achieving one of my goals of speaking in front of amazing people in English, which is my third language, and this is my first presentation in English. So finally, you have to be disciplined with your actions, be disciplined with setting goals, always read them, look at them, morning, noon, night, every single day, be obsessed with them. You know why most people don't achieve the resolution the second week of January? It's because they are not obsessed by their goals. Do you know what are your goals? I'm asking you this question right now. If I ask you, do you know what you want to achieve by the end of March, by the end of April, by the end of the year 2021? Do you know it? Your mindset is really important in that, and it is your gateway to greatness. The only thing we have 100% control on is our thoughts. It's not the results, it's our thoughts. It's important to show up even when it's not going good in your life or in your business. And how you do it? It's by taking care of your mindset, by taking care of your health. Your body is your temple, and you will be in it until the day that you die. So you must feel good from the inside. And you know, excuses screams amateur. Take responsibility of your life, of your action. Setback don't define you. So let go the failures and be disciplined to be to be better and love your obstacles. It's important to love your obstacles throughout that journey to achieving that goal. Thank you, guys.
Wow. Can we all do like a little clap video?
Thank you.
This is your first time, and it doesn't sound like it's your first time.
I hope so.
With so much to think about and so much to apply, and it's a great reminder that it all starts with you. It all starts within your body. Like, I'm huge on this. Anyone who's in the health and wellness and mental health and just everybody, we're just human. Like, we need to be okay in the space we're in. It's so important to set realistic goals. I love hearing that. It's important to manifest. When you manifest, when you're talking about, you know, the work meets the opportunity, meets the luck, meets whatever people want to call it, there's always an action and reaction. You are an example of that. Thank you so much for everything that you shared with us. A lot of people in the chat box are so happy to receive that from you. So thank you. Beautifully said.
Thank you.
Everyone can find Samah at _Samah_AD to learn more on how you can also achieve health and wellness and feel great in your body, in your skin. Thank you so much, Samah.
You're welcome.
You're like a pro. Don't even like.
I'm sweating now like crazy.
I speak 3 languages too, so beautifully done.
Thank you.
Thank you. All right, so we're actually going to hop a little bit backwards to a person we missed, but finally has joined us, Vicky Joseph. Vicky, thank you so much for joining us today. We did do a little recap of who you are, but I'm going to do it very quickly. You're a successful serial entrepreneur, fashion icon, and philanthropist. You also graduated from Montreal International Academy of Design and owner-creator of your own women's clothing line created in 2006. Vicky, there's so much more on this paper to share with you. Where are you?
I'm here. Do you see me? Do you hear me? Everybody hears me?
Hi.
Hi. How are you?
by voice. Ellie should be proud of me. I am so happy to finally have you here.
I'm so excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me, you guys. Thank you, Nifimi. You know, we met through social media, just like that. I think
just like that.
Exactly, and we just clicked as sisters, and I'm here to share everything I can share with you guys today. Absolutely.
Vicky, quick recap. So you were co-founder of Cosmetics.
There's a lot.
Oops, at 3737. You won Young Entrepreneur 2019, an award by the Montreal Chamber of Commerce. Can we talk about that? Best fashion designer for the Black Canadian Awards. You also got that. Recipient of the BMO Community Donation Award. Like your CV must be like an ingredient list that I have to do for my meal prep company.
It's got 5 pages, Jody.
Crazy, Vicky, help us.
It seems like always bigger, but for us, you know, I always say, I don't know, I don't see it as much, you know, like what I do, I'm a hustler and that's what I do. I just share my word, my experience, and this is what I do. I need to change my community one person at a time, change a mindset one step at a time. Because when I started back 15 years ago, I've been 15 years in business. And let me tell you, there was no, like, I wouldn't say no Black women, but they were almost nothing in business. And I was in the fashion industry, which is an industry where it's pretty close-minded. So I had to fight for almost 15 years to be recognized today. And my word is not even about making millions with my companies now. It's about sharing my word. And we need to change our mindset. We need to change our community. We need to create wealth for now, for all of our entrepreneurs. We need to create structure for them. We need to create wealth. And for our generation now and the future generation that are coming, because I'm not accepting that my kids and the young kids that are here right now suffering, that they will have the same path that we did have. Thank God we're very competent. Thank God, you know, God is with us. You know, he gave us the smartness, if we would say, education for us to succeed today. But let me tell you, where I come from in Saint Michel, Montreal North, they don't have the same chance. Most of them are completely discouraged by school. You know, their parents are really trying to make ends meet. Most of them are like probably $20,000 a year combined salary for a family. So you can imagine for how these kids have to almost be able to sustain themselves. So that's why we decided to create this group, which is called Groupe 3737, to help entrepreneurs have a structure and give those kids, you know, like models of inspiration. We need to create champions. We need to create women's also champions. We need more. We need to break those glasses and be able to be sustainable. That's how, in a way, we can create like sustainable brand. It's more than a brand. It's more than just making money, like I said. It's more than just your product. It's more than a name. It's more than a logo. It's a why. What is your why? What is your purpose? From the moment that I let loose and I understood what was my purpose, that's when everything changed for me. So in all, yes, in a loop, this is how it looks like, but it wasn't that easy. But I had to fight, I had to be resilient, and I had to really, really put all my, you know, competency, excellency together to make it here today.
Vicky, just hearing you right now, I just feel like I'm ready to pack my bags and let's go. Like, you know what I mean? I'm like, I'm ready, guys.
Do this. There's no excuse, you know, no excuse. Like the other ones were saying, like super well, Sama and Ellie. Honestly, it's your heart. You have to pour in your heart and everything you've got in order to succeed. It doesn't come like this, no and never. And forget about the money. Yes, you need sales, but it's more than that. To create like a sustainable brand is more than that. I love this quote about Dan Pallotta. It's called, brand is much more than a name or a logo. Brand is everything. You got to know your why. You got to really research your market. You got to know your customer. You got to go deep in your story to know what exactly I'm going to offer to my customers that is going to be, that has going to have an impact on them. Not just, you know, giving them a product. This is déjà vu, but we're beyond that now. We need to collectively change the world. It's more than that. If you really want to be successful, if you really, really, really want to have want to have like, you know, live with your passion and be happy, because it's one thing have money, it's one thing, but you're never going to find happiness. You need to go deep and change and have an impact in this world. This is honestly, this is what brand is all about. This is what success is all about. It's defined, whoever wants to define it, that's it, it's, you know, it's you. But from my perspective and my experience, this is my legacy, and this is what I hope that people will understand. My father, who passed away 3 years ago, had no money, but shared everything to this world. Everything. Like, he was there for people who needed the most. And once he died, I remember the day of his funeral. And that's a quick, and I have to share this because that's where my life changed and that's where my brands changed. And I remember that day where, you know, he had a standing ovation. There were like more than 2,000 people in the church. And he had a standing ovation on that day because of the fact of his life, because he touched people's heart. That's it. That's what you want you want people to remember. You need to leave a legacy. So this is honestly my message to you all. Leave a legacy and find your why.
Vicky, that it was so inspiring on so many levels, because here we are at this summit. We're trying to talk about, you know, shaping that vision and how do you get that vision across and your mindset. And you're talking about diversity. You're talking about a specific culture. Guess what? There's other minorities that are able to relate to you. Yes. We're all here in this, what we call the melting pot. We're all trying to find a space. We are in a place where you can grow your mindset. When you learn from differences, you learn from differences more than you learn from similarities. Absolutely. How are we not appreciating that? Like, coming from a sociology and anthropology background, like, I appreciate the differences.
Absolutely.
It's interesting. And we can all connect on this. And you're talking about, let's talk about our why. Exactly. Absolutely. Because sometimes it takes trauma.
Yes, it does.
You know, when we're talking about, you know, someone who has experienced, you know, not the greatest things as a child. We all have. I haven't spoken about them yet. Yes. But when I do, boy, I'm sure I connect to a lot of young girls who experienced what I did.
Absolutely.
And it's coming, and it's facing your fear, and it's shaping your mindset, and it's healing. A lot of healing, talking about it to the right people who are going to have the ears to understand and tell you it is okay. Yes. And then you take all of these and you grow. I swear to God, I'm having goosebumps right now. Like,
to educate. Education is everything. It's power. Knowledge is power. And my dream, what, you know what it is with my whole brand, because people want to know, how do you make your money, your millions and everything? Because I'm focusing on one dream, and it's bigger than my money. It's bigger than my products. I love my products to death, but it's bigger than that. You know what I mean? It's your why, and what is your purpose, and what is your legacy? The word is that the diversity. I don't want it to exist anymore. That word is, honestly, I need it to change. That one day we'll collectively be one, competency equally, and that we will never talk about division and anything like this. So that's why representation matter. Women like me, or like everybody around you, are part of the diversity. All of those women that are here right now are part of the diversity. Women and men, we all have an action to put in. It could be a small or a bigger action, but we all have our share to do in this world to change that. And this is my action. Yes. And you know what it's going to do? You know what it's changing right now? The game is changing. It's because now we're going to see more and more products like V Cosmetic in the shelves. We're no longer talking 90% versus 10% or 5% on the shelves. This is what my work is doing right now. Talking one step at a time to bigger companies, private or public, or investors, or this is what we're talking about. That's why in business, once you have your brand, it has to go beyond just selling a product or service. Absolutely. And this is when it's going to, this is how you maintain a sustainable brand. It goes beyond that.
It's your passion.
It's your passion. It's your why.
So what, if I can ask you, in your business, where you're at right now, it's clearly not a beginner's business. It's clearly beyond that. Can you tell us a little bit more about that? And how did you get there? Like, there's a lot of sweat and tears that happens when anyone's starting any business. I've experienced it. Nobody sees it on social media. I'm in the corner crying like a baby, like I can't do this. I swear, I am.
I know, and it's the reality, right? Like I said, social media is what society wants you to see. Like I told Nifemi the last time, you got to be able to focus. You got to be able to create like a funnel, because you won't be too distracted by what's going on, but within your own goal and your own dream and your own vision and mission and your plan of action in your business. So yes, and that's how I started. I started 15 years ago, like a lot of them. And then bits by bits, you build your plan. You have to be able to be literally agile to be able to kind of like change your plan every 3 to 6 months, because the fact and the reality is we all think that having a business plan for 5 or 10 years like we used to back in the days, it's what's in today. No. It's so fast right now. With the pandemic, everything changed. So you got to be able to refresh it almost every 3 months to be able to be in the market and be able to have like a crazy impact and sell and sell and sell. So it's the same thing. That's how I kind of like created. I was always like in a fast-paced lane. Even back then, I was always changing my mission, my vision, my strategies for my companies, always. And discipline is everything. We all have our days where we don't want to work, but you know what? To have these businesses today, successful businesses today, it's called discipline. A plan without concrete action and discipline means nothing, zero, nada. And a lot of people out there right now, I find they have a lot of dreams. They talk about it, but put it in action, affirmative action. And it's serious. It seems simple, but it is.
That's amazing. That's how we can learn how to run a sustainable brand. Guys, reach out to Vicky because she has found her answers and hopefully can always help us find our answers and support her with everything that she does. We wish you all the best and can't wait to learn more from you and everybody else on the panel.
Thank you.
You're getting a lot of love in the chat box, so and I saw a lot of claps, hand clapping.
And then I do a lot of mentorship also. So if ever, and people who need to create, they want to grow their businesses within Group 37 also, I can send everybody like a lot of information. Then you can definitely start up now. So there's a lot of ways. Reach out.
There's 3 Instagram handles. You got Vicky Joseph. You got a Group 37 SD Cosmetic.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Vicky. Can't wait to chat with you later.
Thank you, guys.
All right. This has been so inspiring on so many levels. I think it's just everything we need, right, to move forward and to really take advantage of the next week. So plan on Sunday as much as you can. All right. So can I say best for last? I would like to introduce this person with so much love and respect before even looking at any of the accomplishments, but just the movement that she has done in Montreal to come from another country to bring all of this expertise to connect us all here together. Please welcome me. I want to see like hands raising and everything. Nefemi Fagbon. Oh no, wait, we didn't do Mariana. Oh no.
Well, Mariana, please.
Hold on a second. Before I introduce Mariana, I did want to say a big thank you to Nefemi because I am grateful to have connected with everybody and now Mariana.
That's great.
To learn about it because this has been so inspiring, and I'm hoping that everybody is able to find the answers that they need on this business summit. So thank you so much for that, Mariana. You have to forgive me.
Okay. It's okay, girl. Don't worry.
All right. So Mariana Tudor, is that how you pronounce your last name?
Yep.
Amazing. She helps people and businesses to organize their living or working space so that they can navigate through their day with more ease, efficiency, and harmony. as the major goal is to ensure productivity gets achieved. So your biggest tips for business productivity. I mean, I think organization is one of the biggest things to get discipline going, to get your vision going and your mindset. How do we do that?
Oh my God, absolutely. It is the most essential thing I notice as a business owner you need to grasp. And the reason why I'm saying this is simply because there's this misconception that I find where people think that your surrounding is a direct reflection of your inner world. And I like to say that it's the I mean, your inner world is a reflection of your outer world. I like to think the opposite. I like to think that if your outer world is neat, it's tidy, it's organized, you know where to find your things easier, then obviously you'll feel better. Obviously you'll be more productive. Obviously you'll be on top of your shit and your day is going to go more easily. So to begin my presentation, what I would like to say is maybe give you a quick background and why I do what I do for a living. I started my journey 2 years ago. I like to think that I was in a really, really, really bad place. Actually, even worse than a bad place. Like I was in a bad place. And I decided that it was enough. It was time for me to switch it up. And I took a photo of myself and I was like, that's my start. Let's begin my journey. I started losing weight. I started focusing on bettering myself, optimizing myself first. And then slowly it transpired into becoming this entrepreneurial journey who eventually led me to a business coach who taught me that when you have a business, it needs to be aligned with your values and what you do best on a day-to-day basis. And I noticed that what I do, which is to optimize my surroundings so that I can be more productive, was not something everybody did. Like I legitimately thought everyone did that, and not everyone does that. And actually people sometimes struggle with it. So today I'm going to be focusing on that specific side of optimization because there's so many other areas that can involve optimizing an office space, whether it's digitally or like your email list or using a notepad and to-do list. But the main part that I noticed has the most impact is going to be your space. And so what I want to start with is if you have a cluttered space, without realizing it, your mind picks up on the clutter. Your mind just is this fascinating tool, you know, and yeah, it solves problems, but it also has, you know, little things that most people aren't aware of, which is it scans things around on a subconscious level. And so if you're in a space that is constantly filled with clutter, if your desk or your office space has, you know, a bunch of old mails and papers that you haven't taken care of and old notebooks and just it's filled, your brain will pick up on it and you won't be able to, you know, specifically focus on the task at hand because your brain is focusing on everything else. So in order to be laser focused on what you're doing, the most essential thing you can do, and I want you guys to do it after, you know, as soon as we're done with this, you're done with the business summit, next morning, make sure you put that on your to-do list, get started. Declutter your space and you'll thank me later. So declutter your space and then find that mental clarity that we're talking about, not the opposite way around.
And Anna, if I can interrupt you and ask you, I'm somebody who, when I'm organizing, like I love organizing in my pantry and like I want it in a jar. I don't want bags. I don't want anything.
I love that. Yes.
So I always tell myself that everything needs to have a home and then it won't get decluttered. But for people who have gone through that OCD, what's an exercise that you do to be able to get organized? Like when you say, you know, your email, your inbox, can you give us a little bit more details?
Yeah, of course. I'm going to get you guys started on this. And I don't know if you guys have ever heard about it, but it's called the Pomodoro technique. And I do that because most of the time when you are already in a cluttered space, it's because you're overwhelmed. And the chances are the reason why it's cluttered is because you don't want to do it. You've been postponing it. So to get started, use the Pomodoro technique. It's a 25-minute alarm that you can set just to get started. Can you put aside 25 minutes to tackle down one area in your home? It doesn't have to be perfect. Just start with it. Like, I like the fact that you mentioned OCD because it does factor in. Like I'm all about that. I love, you know, putting labels and having things in transparent bins, but just get it start it first. It doesn't have to be perfect. So 25 minutes, set an alarm, pick a location. It could be a drawer, it can be your pantry, it can be your office, and get started.
That is so well said. Thank you so much, Mariana. We're gonna get organizing. I think it takes organization to move forward, and figure out what your next move is. Because when everything is in front of you, you're like, we say everybody has ADD. I'm gonna just like put in some like holistic things. Is that we're so overly active, our brain, from the TV to the computer to work. You're working from home. Your personal space has turned into work. So where do you draw those lines? And so if you don't create a space within your bigger space, allocate for this and that, you're just going to be like, there's so much to do, and you're going to shut down.
Yeah, and the reason why I specialize in what I specialize in, office optimization, and why I'm so confident launching that business in the middle of a pandemic is because there's a need now more than ever during COVID, because people are working from home.
Amazing, Marina. You're able to help us?
Yeah, of course. And I can do it virtually to adapt to people, because like every business, we all adapt to the circumstances we're in. So I can offer virtual organization, and I offer also in person if ever you are open to it, and we, respect the security measures. But we can definitely do that virtually as well.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Mariana. Please sure to add your Instagram handle in the chat box so everybody can find you. I know we've been so many times, but we forget. So I'd love to learn more about you and connect. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And I'm so sorry for missing you. It's because we jumped back to Vicky, so
no worries.
All right. So again, I will say that this person is the person who allowed us all to connect today and share the value of our experience, our journey, what we have to impact. I think everybody just make sure that they're muted. Sorry, just because there's a little bit of background noise. Okay, amazing. So Nefemi, who runs Montreal Vendors. I'm going to introduce her. It's quite an introduction, so please bear with me, but she deserves this. So AKA Nifu, we all give her that nickname. Internationally trained chemical and polymer engineer turned beauty expert and fashion stylist at Nifu Signature, so you can find her there. Who's a sucker for excellent customer service, hence currently focused on changing the narrative in a Canadian top leading company as a customer resolution specialist. Away from the beauty industry, she also stints in the banking industry, events industry, oil and gas industry, where she garnered skills in human relations, data analytics, and problem solving. Project management, project and research engineering skills, management, and mentorship, and she has impacted all of our lives already. She was a member of the Nigerian Society of Chemical Engineers and Polymer Institute of Nigeria. Also was one of the ambassadors for the Makeup Guild of Nigeria. Nefemi was also a beauty columnist and contributor for a few magazines, evident of her flair for writing beauty, makeup-related articles. And I follow some of her lives, and she talks a lot about beauty, and she shows so much beauty, and that's amazing. Her love for community building and adding value to lives birthed an advertising platform called Montreal Vendors to promote businesses in Montreal and all around the province of Quebec at large. This earned her a Community Personality Award of Year 2020 by Canada Vendors. This mom of three, who's an amazing mom who has probably her child in her arms right now as she's helping them breastfeed and teething, desires to see all small business owners to feel great, to be seen, heard, and recognized. She's helped us all come together. Nefemi, how are you? What an amazing portfolio. Not just
Thank
as
you so much.
Getting to know you, but also professionally.
Thank you very much for having me. I love that intro, and to everyone who registered and are here today, I'm going to say thanks so much for being here. This wouldn't have happened without you being in attendance. All right, so let me just jump right in. We're going to talk about being a 360-degree entrepreneur, and being a 360-degree entrepreneur would not be complete if your customer service is whack. We all know that most customers some will not even remember what they got from you or the products they got from someone else, a particular vendor, but they'll always remember the experience they had with you. And another thing I want us to understand is that 70% based on research of people would spend more money with a company that has excellent customer service. So right? Let's just recap right now. What's excellent customer service? Is just about you providing excellent customer experience by going extra mile to ensure your customers or your clients are happy and satisfied with your products and services. So why would you want to go extra mile to ensure something that pays your bill would make things work for you? So right now, just to think deep, some of our clients that are not returning, what do you think is wrong? What are those things you would have gone to the drawing board to maybe fixed and you refuse to do that because you think, okay, well, I have the best of products to help with him. If she doesn't buy from me or he doesn't buy from me, someone else will do. Always realize that sometimes the only thing you will likely need to sell your products will just be your customer service. So try to put your best name forward, put your best foot forward. And another thing I would love to say is this. You don't have to be you don't have to advertise most times. The customer service would always sell you out. Why not make your clients your advocates? They are just the best things you need. They're just the best people you need to market you. Sometimes the word of mouth will do a lot for you. Listen to them, keep your words, be on time, be authentic, do all you can, and ensure that being a 360 entrepreneur would always work for you. You have to be a complete entrepreneur, someone that understands the complete cycle of entrepreneurship, where your mental wellness is intact, where being financially, let's say, managing your finances, you're doing that already. Understanding how to declutter your space and your mental space, like Mariana said. Same thing Vicky said about living a legacy, not just building a sustainable brand, but so many things encompasses being a 360-degree entrepreneur. So I'll leave this with you that always remember that your clients are watching you and they're not just buying your products, but you're selling services, you're selling the experience, not just the services. So ensure you're selling the best of your services to them. Don't just limit to, oh, well, I have all of these people are already there for me. Remember that they are the major thing you need. The major tool you need is just relationship. My relationship is what you need to sell your business. So thanks a lot for having me.
Thank you for having all of us. That is so inspiring. And I think it's, you know what, if I were just to end the remarks today by saying that we have all connected on one common denominator, which is relationship with yourself, relationship with others, relationship with your image, relationship with your messaging. It all falls down to that. And I think through that, we're able to have proper conversations with ourselves, build our mindset, focus on where we want to go, work with passion, and refocus on our why, visit painful conversations. If it's with yourself, if it's your finances, if it's where I need to be, create that discipline. I'm a firm believer that you are a product of your habits. You are. And sometimes we don't know how to create those habits, and it takes a community. And I always say, just like it takes a village to raise a child, sometimes it takes the right village to build us forward. But it's finding those people. And today I have so much gratitude for everything and all the messages that were shared here today, because it's not just from a business perspective, this is helping us shape our lives with productivity. And when you're good in your own space, in your own body, when your cup is already full, then you're able to share that cup with others. So I would like to thank you all once again. Thank you, Nefemi. Thank you, Montreal vendors. Thank you, Etiquetify, for this amazing opportunity, for allowing us to shed all this light and connect on a personal and professional level. I look forward to connecting with everybody on your Instagrams, learning about your books, taking your exercises and your services. Thank you so much for listening to me and allowing me to be the moderator and converse with you. I appreciate that. I send you guys so much love. Thank you so much again, Niffy and everyone. And you can find me at Healthy Bites MTL. And until we meet again, have an amazing journey, positive vibes, and always much love. Thank you. Bye.